Morning. I basically just wanted to make this video to share my story and hopefully give someone out there some hope about building a house. So basically, my story is I'm currently 35. When I was 22, I bought a house in Western Australia. It was the peak of the market. I had grand visions of subdividing this 1,012 square metre block and all the rest, and basically could never save up the money, and then got married and then moved away. So I owned the house for about a year, and then I thought I'd had enough of this town, so I've moved away. Over the past 11 years, the value of that block had dropped to about half, and my self-esteem and self-worth had dropped to about half as well. I was pretty devastated because it kept us in a position to where we were stuck. We couldn't do anything. The banks wouldn't lend to us. It didn't have much, no matter how much deposit we had and how much income we sort of had at the time, we were stuck. And so we just had to sit it out and wait for it. And in the meantime, my business had grown and I was making reasonable money as a builder. And then we got word that our house had been trashed right at the back of a couple of really big jobs that we were doing. Our house over in West Australia had gotten trashed, and we were devastated because we'd already renovated it once. We'd sunk a fair bit of money over the years into it to keep it, maintain it. And so we had to do something, and we didn't have enough money to pay someone to do it because we knew it wasn't worth a lot. And although the market had come up, we weren't going to be taking any profit by spending heaps of money on it. The unfortunate part about it all is that the street that we'd bought on had just gone kaput. It was full of drug dealers and state housing and everything, and we basically had no other option but to drive ourselves over there and renovate it. We needed a family trip anyway, so that was okay. But as for all things regarding renovations, they either cost more or they take longer to do. And in this case, it was more of a case of time. It took us a lot longer to do, and we ended up spending 2.5 months there. I was burnt out by the end of it, and basically just let my business go to pot. Not working for a couple of months and not caring about the upkeep of the business. So we poured sort of 35 to 40 grand into the house, and then all the lost income from not working, that mounted up pretty quickly. And then effectively we were starting from square one. Now, in the meantime of all that, about 2021, we had been saving really hard for a couple of years, and we saved up, say, like 50 grand that we didn't have to touch ever. And then this block came up where I am now, and it was just the dream block. It's backs onto this beautiful forest. It's in a beautiful estate. It's 1,800 square meters. The beach is about 4 minutes that way. My son's school is just here, 500 meters away. And it's a nice little closed off estate with some reserves here that can never be built on, blah, blah, blah. And it was really expensive. It was over $400,000 just for the land. And I thought, I've got to have it. So we put the deposit down, waited for the estate to get finished for about a year, and then it finally opened up and we started getting to work on getting some plans together. The banks wouldn't lend to us because of lots of different reasons, but I'm self-employed, and the money side of things hadn't been going so well since my burnout, so I was kind of stuck. you know, we'd saved up a bit of cash and we got a little bit of money back from the house, even though we lost 40 grand on the sale price. We sort of paid some of it off, and so we got some of it back. Not enough to build a house, nowhere near. Enough to maybe start, and I had some of my own money. And I got to thinking, and I was like, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to make this happen? And then I was just doing some work for a builder. I'd gone back to carpentry. I'd had enough of running the show. Went back to carpentry, and then I noticed there's a lot of material waste on every job, and they just chuck it out. In fact, they pay people to cut it up and chuck it out. So I asked the supervisors, I said, well, can I take it? And they said, yeah, absolutely. So I've been, for the last 12 months, every single day that I had spare, like on the weekends or most days after work, I'd drive around and go and see which materials I could collect and take. And basically, I've gotten a lot more than I ever thought I would. And I'll just give you a very quick snapshot of what that is. That big pile there is all insulation. I've got all of that formwork is either leftover or free materials, which is not a massive cost, but it is a cost. These bricks, so all these bricks, other than the different colour ones, they're all one job, over-ordered. I mean, this is how ridiculous it is. They will over-order stupid amounts of stuff and it just all gets chucked. And I think that's a travesty, because we're all, you know, complaining about the cost of building and everything, and then these guys are just chucking it out. So my mate said, who's a supervisor, he said, do you want them? And I said, sure. So I got a truck in to pick them up, and that cost me about $450 to get them here. And that is about $8,000 worth of bricks. That's going to do our whole garage, which is here, and that's, oh, and there's a bit over here too, but I had been collecting bricks, and trust me, that is not fun. I had this big trailer and I put on a big load, like about half the trailer, about 3 or 4 bricks high, and I was like, man, this must be heaps. It was only about 400, so that's not worth doing. It takes too much time and it's too much hard work. But if you really wanted to do it, you could, because these are just random pallets that were left over on jobs. There's always some left over, and there's not usually this many left over, but if you wanted to, you could collect enough bricks, depending on what you're going to do with them. Look, we're going to paint them, so they're not going to be orange, they're going to be whatever color we choose later. So yeah, like you're already looking at, you know, $7,000 worth of savings right there. And then I've got these 2 containers on my block, which I bought specifically for material storage and whatnot. The other day I just picked up these sheets. I don't know how much these go for, but these are your wet area sheets, and they're probably upwards of $100 a sheet. And so I just picked up the leftovers. So there's $500 worth of sheets there. I've got all my sheets for my wet areas. These are all leftover. Not a single thing in this whole container, materials-wise, have I bought. It's like, you look at all that. You get free plywood. I made all these shelves. Everything here that's shelving was made with free material. And I'll just quickly open this up. This is what I've got so far. All 100% free. This is the kind of stuff these bigger builders will chuck out, and they'll happily give it to you because it cleans their site up. So I've got some more floor sheets here. It's going to do my upstairs floors. I've got more outside. Sorry about the mattress, but windows and doors. And there's $5,000 worth of windows and doors here. There's 2 louver windows in the back and this double door here. But they weren't quite right, so they were just going to chuck them. So they just gave them to me. And it was all because I've asked, and all because I've been an opportunist about all this, because I know I can't afford to build a house that I want without doing this. Got some leftover metal and more leftover metal. And, you know, this is, when you talk about, oh, no one can afford a house and all this, I really believe that it's not a case of you can't afford it, it's you just want to say you can't afford it. Sorry about this. You'd rather say you can't afford it and then not do anything about it, because that's a lot of hard work. I've given up nearly every weekend for a year. My wife's had to watch the kids a lot by herself while I try and make a dent in our house budget. And, you know, people are going to look at this house when it's done and they're going to say, oh, well, that's great for you. You know, you blah, blah, this and that. No way, man. I started from nothing and I've just worked and worked and worked and worked to make this thing happen, and it is going ahead. And yes, I am a builder, and yes, I know how to build my own house, which is great. But there's other people with other skills who can find other little side hustles. Like I will sell things that I don't need. I'll sell on the side to make extra money so I can afford to build a house. And I do not stop. I'm not stopping until I get the goal. And I think if more people had that attitude, then more people would see opportunities that are ahead of you. Because the problem is, if you're going around saying, oh, we can't, well, you never will. It's as simple as that. But if you say, how can we? And you stay optimistic, then you will start to see opportunities in front of you. You know, there's no excuse. Yeah, it's expensive, interest rates are high, blah, blah, blah. I'm sick of hearing that. I've just had a gutful. If you want it bad enough, we live in a rich country, you can get stuff off marketplace and resell it, fix it up, resell it, and you can just go and do that all in your free time instead of binge watching Netflix, instead of scrolling your stupid TikToks and social media stuff that just doesn't get you anywhere. Why don't you go and read some self-development books? Why don't you go and better yourself? Or why don't you learn a new skill? Why don't you just say, one way or another, I'm going to do this, and go and do it? I'm sick of everyone making excuses as to why they can't do it. I think it's a cop-out, and I think if you really want it bad enough, you can, no matter what your skill level is or what your intelligence is. You know, you can learn a new skill and go do it. I sell stuff on the side. That's my skill. I have it in there. I'm not saying that everyone can do that, but I am saying that everyone does have a unique way they can leverage what they know and who they know. And a lot of it is who you know, but a lot of it is also your mindset. And if you've got a positive mindset and you really want something bad enough, your brain will show you opportunities when they arise. It's exactly the same as when you buy a car and then you start seeing that car everywhere. It's at the front of your mind. Your mind is triggered when it sees that and it records that as relevant information. You want your brain to be recording the relevant information as being opportunities and not, you know, oh, woe is me, I can't do it. So just be inspired, because if I can do it, literally anybody can do it. I've never had a great, amazing income. I've never been amazing at business. But I have changed my mindset from, you know, I'm never going to do it to I am going to do it. I just got to figure out how. So be encouraged. Don't give up. If you like this video, don't subscribe. Don't thumbs up. I don't care. It's not about that. I don't care about YouTube's algorithm. I only care that one person saw this and decided, heck yes, I'm going to do it no matter what. So best of luck on your journey, and you know, I might or I might not post more videos about this build journey as the house goes up. It's pretty surreal, it's pretty exciting, and yeah, we'll see you later. And please, I'd love to hear your story. If this has an effect on anyone, I'd love to hear your story, because you know, I do not care about making money on YouTube or being an influencer. It's more about, you know, if someone sees this and gets inspired, well, that's my reward, because my situation was hopeless, but it's not anymore. So yeah, you can do it too. That's it. We'll see you later.